37 million. That is the number of American adults currently living with chronic kidney disease, and get this, 9 out of 10 don't even know they have it until it is too late. If you are over 60, you are currently standing at a terrifying crossroads. On one side, you have sarcopenia, the silent thief that is stealing your muscle, your strength, and your independence every single day. To fight it, every nutritionist tells you, you must eat more protein. But on the other side, you have your aging kidneys. And for decades, we have been told that protein is the enemy of the kidneys. We are told that protein creates toxic waste that forces our kidneys to work overtime. So, what do? Do you eat the steak to keep your legs strong, risking dialysis? Or do you skip the protein to save your kidneys, only to become so frail you can't walk up the stairs? It feels like a trap. It feels like no matter what you choose, you lose. My name is Frank Taylor, and at 68 years young, I've spent a lot of time thinking about these very questions. Now, I want to be clear, I am not a medical doctor or a geriatrician. My journey over the past decade has been a bit different. I've dedicated my retirement to being a sort of health detective for folks just like us. I spend my days digging into the latest clinical studies, and I want to emphasize that all the research I mention will always be linked in the description below every video, so you can check it for yourself. My goal is to take that complex scientific information and turn it into practical advice that we can actually use in our daily lives. And one of the most surprising truths I've found is this: you do not have to choose between your muscles and your kidneys. In today's video, we are going to navigate this together. First, I'm going to show you why the standard low-protein advice might actually be accelerating your aging process. Second, we will debunk the biggest myth about protein toxicity and explain the concept of renal acid load. And finally, I'm going to reveal a specific ancient bean, a forgotten superfood, that studies suggest can build muscle just as effectively as whey protein, but with a fraction of the stress on your kidneys. I have a quick question for you before we start. Have you ever cut back on meat because you were worried about your kidney numbers? Let me know by typing yes or no in the comments below. I read every single one. Ready to save your kidneys and your muscles? Let's dive in. The dangerous intersection. Muscles versus filters. Let's get real for a moment. Why is this specific intersection of muscle loss and kidney health so dangerous? It's because your muscles and your kidneys are practically married. They talk to each other constantly. When your kidneys start to struggle, a condition known as CKD or chronic kidney disease, it triggers a chemical chain reaction in your body that actively dissolves your muscle tissue. It's a cruel cycle. The weaker your kidneys get, the faster you lose muscle. And surprisingly, the less muscle you have, the worse your outcomes are if you do have kidney disease. Think of your body like a high-performance car. Your muscles are the engine that moves you. Your kidneys, they are the oil filter. Their job is to clean the blood. Now, when you eat protein, whether it's a steak, an egg, or a piece of cheese, your body breaks it down into amino acids to repair the engine. But this process creates a waste product called nitrogen. You can think of nitrogen like the exhaust fumes from that car. Your kidneys have to filter this exhaust out through urine. The more protein you eat, the harder the filter has to work. This is called hyperfiltration. For a healthy 20-year-old, this is no problem. Their filters are brand new, but for us, after 60, our filters have some wear and tear. This is where the fear comes from. We are terrified that if we eat too much protein, we are going to blow a gasket. We are going to force our kidneys to work so hard that they just give up. But here is what the low-protein advocates often forget to tell you. Your kidneys need muscle to survive. A landmark study published in the American Journal of Kidney Diseases followed thousands of older adults with kidney issues. Do you know what they found? They found that those with low muscle mass had a significantly higher risk of mortality than those who maintained their strength. Why? Because when you have more muscle mass, your body is more resilient to the stress of the disease. Muscle acts as a reservoir of amino acids that supports your immune system and your heart function. When you lose that muscle due to sarcopenia, you become frail. Frailty leads to falls. Falls lead to hospitalization. And for a kidney patient, hospitalization is the #1 risk factor for acute kidney failure. So, by trying to protect your kidneys by starving your muscles, you might be walking directly into the very danger you are trying to avoid. The great myth: all protein is created equal. This leads us to the biggest, most dangerous myth in geriatric nutrition. The myth is, to save your kidneys, you must stop eating protein. I see this all the time. I have friends who get a slightly high lab result, maybe their creatinine is a little elevated, and immediately they panic. They switch to a diet of toast, white rice, and tea. They cut out the eggs. They throw away the meat. They think they are being safe. But here is the truth that needs to be heard. Starving your muscles to save your kidneys is a failing strategy. When you drastically cut protein intake below 0.8 grams per kilogram of body weight, your body doesn't just stop needing amino acids. It still needs them to repair your heart tissue, to make enzymes, and to keep your brain sharp. So where does it get them if you aren't eating them? It cannibalizes your own muscles. It breaks down your thighs and your biceps to feed your vital organs. This creates a state called protein energy wasting, or PUW. It's not just sarcopenia, it's accelerated wasting. You become weak. You feel tired all the time. And frankly, that is often more immediately dangerous than the early stages of kidney decline. But wait, Frank, you might ask, are you saying I should go eat a 16-ounce steak every night? Absolutely not. That would be like pouring rocket fuel into a vintage car. It's too much. The problem isn't protein itself. The problem is the source and the package that protein comes in. See, not all proteins are created equal in the eyes of your kidneys. This is the nuance that most doctors don't have time to explain in a 15-minute appointment. The real enemy is something called renal acid load, or PRAL. Animal proteins, red meat, processed pork, heavy dairy, are rich in sulfur-containing amino acids. When your body metabolizes them, they create a high acid load in your blood. To neutralize this acid and keep your blood pH balanced, your kidneys have to produce ammonia. This ammonia is toxic to the kidney tissue itself over time. It's like cleaning your delicate filter with sandpaper. The more acid you eat, the more ammonia your kidneys make and the more scar tissue forms. Furthermore, animal proteins are often loaded with absorbable phosphorus. High phosphorus is a silent killer for aging kidneys because it pulls calcium out of your bones, making them brittle, and deposits it in your blood vessels, making them stiff. This leads to what we call the calcification paradox: weak bones and hard arteries. So we have a dilemma. We need protein to stop sarcopenia, but we need to avoid the acid load and phosphorus of heavy meats. The solution isn't no protein. The solution is the right protein. We need a protein that builds muscle just as effectively as meat, but acts like a gentle balm for the kidneys instead of sandpaper. We need a protein that is alkaline, not acidic. We need a protein that provides strength without the stress. Does such a thing exist? Is there a food that can flip the switch for muscle growth without triggering the alarm bells in your kidneys? Yes, and it's likely sitting in the back of a pantry, ignored right now. It is not a pill, it is not a powder. It is an ancient food that modern science is finally catching up to. The forgotten superfood, the mung bean. Forget the expensive whey protein powders that can spike your insulin. Forget the massive stakes. The solution I want to introduce to you today is a humble ancient legume that has been used in Eastern medicine for thousands of years to detoxify the body. It is the mung bean. Now, I know what you're thinking. Beans? Frank, beans give me gas, and are they really enough to build muscle? I thought only meat built muscle. Stick with me, because the science on this specific bean is fascinating, and it might just save your health span. Mung beans are unique in the plant kingdom. Unlike many other plant proteins that are missing key pieces of the puzzle, mung beans have an incredibly high biological value, but the secret weapon here is an amino acid called leucine. If you've watched my other videos on sarcopenia, you know leucine is the key that starts the car engine of muscle growth. It is the trigger. Usually, plants are low in leucine. To get enough leucine from, say, wheat or corn, you would have to eat huge amounts of calories. But mung beans are a standout. They pack enough leucine to trigger muscle synthesis, but, and this is the crucial part, they generate almost zero renal acid load. Let's look at the comparison. When you eat beef, your kidneys have to fight a wave of acid. When you eat mung beans, the impact is neutral to alkaline. You are feeding your muscles the fuel they need, but you are not asking your kidneys to produce that toxic ammonia to neutralize acid. It's clean energy. A study comparing plant-based protein sources found that mung bean protein isolates had antioxidant properties that could actually help protect kidney tissue from damage. They contain specific peptides that inhibit the angiotensin-converting enzyme, which is exactly what blood pressure medications like lisinopril do. So, in a way, this food works in harmony with your body's need to keep blood pressure low in the kidneys. Plus, let's talk about phosphorus. Remember the calcification paradox? Unlike the phosphorus in steak, which is absorbed at nearly 100%, the phosphorus in beans is bound to phytates. This means humans lack the enzyme to fully break it down, so your body only absorbs about 30 to 40% of the phosphorus. You get the muscle building blocks without the mineral overload that stiffens your arteries. The Green Kidney Shield Protocol. So, how do we use this? I don't want you to just boil some beans and suffer through a bland bowl of mush. I have developed a simple protocol I call the Green Kidney Shield. It's cheap, it's delicious, and it's safe for most stages of kidney health. Of course, always check with your nephrologist if you are on late-stage restrictions. Step 1. The soak. Crucial for digestion. Always, and I mean always, soak your mung beans overnight. This removes the anti-nutrients and oligosaccharides that cause gas and bloating. If you want to take it to the next level, let them sprout. Sprouting entails soaking them for a day, draining them and letting them sit damp for another day until a tiny white tail appears. Sprouting doubles the availability of the protein and reduces the carbohydrate content, making them incredibly easy to digest. Step 2. The pairing. Completing the profile. We need to create a complete protein profile that rivals meat. While mung beans are high in lysine, they are slightly low in methionine. The best friend of the mung bean is a grain. If you are watching your potassium, white rice is perfectly fine. If you need more fiber, buckwheat is a powerhouse. A simple ratio of 2 parts mung bean to 1 part grain creates a perfect amino acid profile that your body can use immediately to repair muscle tissue. Step 3. The secret spice, anti-inflammatory boost. Add turmeric and a pinch of black pepper. We talked about inflammation in previous videos. Kidney disease is an inflammatory state. Turmeric calms the inflammation in the tiny filters of your kidneys. The black pepper increases the absorption of the turmeric by 2,000%. Frank's Golden Mung Soup Recipe. Here is the specific recipe I eat 3 times a week. I call it my Golden Mung Soup. Take 1 cup of soaked mung beans. I prefer the yellow split kind, also known as mung dal, because they cook faster and are creamier. Simmer them in water or low-sodium vegetable broth with sliced fresh ginger, a teaspoon of turmeric, and a teaspoon of coriander powder. Let them cook until they break down completely into a creamy, thick soup. Serve this over a small portion of hot rice. Squeeze a little fresh lemon juice on top right before eating. This vitamin C helps you absorb the iron from the beans. This meal costs less than $1.50. It provides about 15 to 20 grams of kidney-safe protein. And most importantly, it leaves you feeling light, not heavy and lethargic, like a steak dinner might. What about the gut? There is one more benefit I have to mention, the gut-kidney axis. When your kidneys are struggling, toxins build up in your blood, but your gut can actually help eliminate some of these toxins if you give it the right fiber. Mung beans are rich in soluble fiber. This fiber acts like a sponge in your intestines, binding to nitrogenous waste and pulling it out of your body through your stool so it never has to pass through your kidneys. So by eating this soup, you are essentially giving your kidneys a vacation. You are offloading the work to your gut. But Frank, what if I absolutely hate beans? Then look for Mung Bean Protein Isolate in the store. It's becoming very popular as a just egg vegan alternative or in plant-based protein powders. However, whole food is always better because you get the fiber sponge effect. This is the shift we need to make. We are moving from high protein, high stress meat to adequate protein, low stress mung beans. Imagine your kidneys sighing in relief. They don't have to fight the acid. They don't have to filter the excess phosphorus. They can just do their job of keeping your blood clean while your muscles finally get the leucine they have been screaming for. Conclusion. So, let's bring this all together. We've learned today that the fear of protein is causing many of us to waste away unnecessarily. We've learned that it's not the amount of protein that's the enemy, but the acid load from animal sources. And we've discovered that the humble mung bean is a powerhouse tool, a green kidney shield that allows you to build strength without sacrificing your organ health. You don't have to be frail to be kidney safe. You can be strong. You can be vibrant. You can have the energy to play with your grandkids and the strength to live independently. The 7-day challenge. Here is my challenge for you this week. I don't want you to overhaul your entire life overnight. That never works. I simply want you to try the Green Kidney Shield Protocol just twice in the next 7 days. Replace 2 of your meat-heavy dinners with the golden mung soup I described. Just 2 meals. Pay attention to how you feel after eating. Do you feel lighter? Do you have more energy the next morning? Do you notice less swelling in your ankles? Building health after 60 isn't about grand gestures. It's about small, smart swaps. Swapping beef for beans twice a week might seem small, but to your kidneys, it is a massive relief. And to your muscles, it is a feast. If you found this video helpful, please do me a huge favor. Click that thumbs up button It helps this information reach other seniors who are scared and confused about their diet. And if you haven't already, hit the subscribe button and the little bell icon. We are building a community here of people who refuse to accept frailty as a normal part of aging. Next week, we are going to tackle something that affects almost all of us: high blood pressure. I'm going to reveal a hidden fruit that lowers pressure and saves your thighs. You won't want to miss it. I'm Frank Taylor. Thank you for letting me be a part of your journey today. Remember, knowledge is your best medicine. Here's to your strength, and here's to your health. I'll see you in the next video.